Back in the outside studio, the garage, and yeah, I had my other session the other day. I had to cut it close. I had to cut it short. So let's pick up where we left off, and we had just gotten done with all these cars here, vehicles, taking them apart, except one. Which I'm not going to take apart. It's metal on metal. It's just going to have to be what this is an old Hot Wheels. I even thought it was a Matchbox, but no, this is an old Hot Wheels from 1982, looks like. And even though it only has one rivet in the bottom, it has, because it's got like the snap over on the side, you can just pry it open. It is just so difficult to take apart. I'm just not going to sit there and drill in the metal. We'll just we'll cover this thing up with armor plates on the in the cab, which there's a good chance that most of these are armored anyways, and we'll go from there. Now we do want to keep the finish on all of these vehicles. So all of these vehicles, we're not going to be priming them. We're going to do some priming, but we're not going to prime them over the paint. I don't think any of them we're going to do that with. So we're going to clear coat the bodies, and we are going to prime the insides if they're visible with primer black, with this stuff right here, because this is what I have. So I actually prefer ammo one shot, but I'm out of it now. This isn't really available. I think I can get it on Amazon, but this costs literally more than this, and it's half the amount, or it's probably even less than half of the amount. But I like this stuff better. So, but I didn't discover this until I had lots of this left. So this works fine. It does the job, but it doesn't seem like it's as durable. All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to do all the clear coating first. Anything that's going to be clear, because this is going to cause it to jam more than the clear is. So I've left the airbrush in kind of a resting position. What I mean by that is I've used this successfully probably 12 times. The last 12 times I've used this airbrush, I've just kind of given it a quick rinse, because I don't want to do a thorough clean when I just come out here and like seal two vehicles, right? So it should be able to work. If not, we'll have to take it apart and get it running. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fire our compressor up. And all we've done on this is clear. So we have rinsed it afterwards, but this stuff just goes in areas that goop will find a way. All right. So I am not anywhere near an airbrush master, but I feel like I get better with it every time, but it is a slow process. So I'm not doing any detail work, so this system works fine for me. I just didn't want to spend 30 minutes cleaning it every time, or 15 minutes cleaning it, or 10 minutes cleaning it. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick check. We're going to put some cleaner in here. And the way you can check quickly if it works is it's a double action airbrush. So if you press down, it's all the way forward. If you press down and liquid comes out, you don't have a good seal on it, and we're going to have to take it apart. So we just have air. And as you pull back, you're going to start getting some liquid. Okay, so we did a good enough job cleaning it to take it to the next step. Now, if I was going to do detail work or something like that, yeah, this wouldn't do it. I would have cleaned it properly. But like I said, if you're out here just spraying a couple things, just clear coat or priming, it's not like you're going to do irreparable damage to it. We're using acrylic paints, and you can clean them out and wake them up, as I like to say, with the right stuff. All right. So let's go through here and find out. We're going to need a little tray to put these in as we work on them. What are we going to use for that? I guess we'll use one of these. We'll use one of these, and we're going to go ahead and do all the clear coats. Now, the clear coat I'm using, there's probably 1,000 ones you can do. I happen to use the Vallejo Premium color. It works for me. And the whole reason that we're doing a clear coat on here, like, well, why are you clear coating it? This already has a clear coat. Well, it has a glossy clear coat. Okay, so what we're doing is we're adding a flat finish on it. And you can't see this with your eye, but it'll make it look flat. And the reason why it looks flat is if you went in there with a microscope, the surface, instead of being smooth, is going to be like sandpaper. Okay. Welcome, MB. What's happening? The reason to do it like sandpaper is when you give this a brown wash, even if it's a watered down brown wash or any kind of a wash, it's going to have something for the wash to attach to. If you try putting a wash on top of this to make it look grimy, like it's been out there, it's gonna be like duck on a water's back. No, water on a duck's back. It's not gonna stick to anything. So that's why we're doing this. All right. So that one's gonna need it. Puddle hopper's gonna need it. This smiling joker is gonna need it. Whatever the hell it's called. This 68 El Camino is gonna need that. This thing that's got the scorpion written on it. I don't know what it is. It's like a badass Carmen Gia. That's going to need it as well. We're not taking the tow truck apart, so we're gonna do the treatment to the whole thing. We're not taking this guy apart either. Well, why aren't you taking this thing apart? Well, first of all, a couple things. This is a Maisto. Okay, I've got Maistos. I got Hot Wheels. I've got which one am I missing? Matchbox. Okay, Maistos. In particular, this is a relatively modern vehicle. This is a vehicle that was, well, the vehicle's a 2015, but it's only 4 or 5 years old. But and these guys basically have no interior. Are you teaching us how to paint in general, or do you customize Hot Wheels? You're new here. I build vehicles for a game called Gaslands, which is basically like Car Wars. So. I'm doing this. I'm actually not teaching anything. I'm just kind of doing it. And if you guys want to listen, that's cool. I'm just staying on track, but that's what I do. I'm repainting these, and I've been really successful with being able to repaint them and not have to strip the whole damn paint off and start from scratch. Because what this allows you to do is you got a vehicle like this, right? You may not want this in red, right? They make this in other different kinds. I've got these all from like the flea market, and I don't think I paid more than $1 for each of these. But you got some nice stripes here to work with. You're going to strip the paint and then put the stripes back on. I probably wouldn't put the stripes on. And I'm telling you, these look great with this kind of stuff on here. We got 396 on it and all kinds of stuff. So these are going to look stellar when we're done with them. And I normally take them apart because the interiors, a lot of the interiors, like for instance, this vehicle is chrome. It's like, that's just not going to work. That just looks absurd. So we want to prime this black. Okay, this undercarriage, I don't need to prime that. I mean, I probably will, but it'll work just fine. These, however, have no interior, so there's no point in taking them apart, especially when you've got these rivets that are way down here that are deep. As I don't like drilling in through the rivets. It takes forever, and honestly, I find it pretty dangerous. So I usually go around the plastic. The plastic is so high up, and the rivet is so far down, I'm going to spend a long time doing this, all for nothing. I know that Maistos don't have an interior. So we're going to just clear coat this one. This Ute, this is, what do we call this thing? Grape jelly? Grape shot. Yeah, we're going to have some kind of cannon here in the back. That one's going to get clear coated. Yeah, see, here's a perfect example of something you need to, can you tell you more about the game? Well, it's available from Osprey. And you can play it with cars that aren't customized. If you look on this channel, there's a review I did of the rules, so you can check that out. I did it a couple of years ago. Turned a lot of pages. It's like 10, 14 bucks or whatever. It's a great game. It's a great game. So I am going to do gameplay videos. I did do one solo gameplay video, but we are going to have gameplay videos with other people as long as once I get the work situation straightened out, because I'm on work overload right now. This guy right here, we are going to do something different with him. So this is a perfect example why you want to paint this thing up, because you've got some chrome parts. You've got, what kind of a vehicle has a white undercarriage? It's not very believable. This whole thing is going to be primed all three colors in black, all of them in black. Well, why are you going to prime this one? Well, you got a big Hot Wheels thing on there. That's just like an eyesore, you know? So we're going to prime this whole thing black, and I don't know what we're going to do with that one, okay? So we'll put this in the black group. This is also going to be black. We don't want this little scooter thing. We don't want that. But however, the body for it looks awesome. Look at these flames. I don't want to destroy that. You know, I want to enhance it and paint the grill and stuff on here. So this is going to get a clear coat. Okay, that's going to get clear coated. This whole thing is going to be clear coated. And if I do need to prime some of this stuff in the back, because we don't want a bed that's yellow, it's not very believable, right? Especially in an apocalyptic environment, we can use the primer by hand painting it. Okay, so this is going to get clear coated. This old redneck truck, this is going to be clear coated. Undercarriage for it, we don't want it in white. That's going to be primered in black. Primer. The windows, believe it or not, there's a couple of windows. These are like really loud yellow windows. If you add like a wash to them, it makes them look good, you know. Hello from northern Michigan, 31, having a 31. It got about that temperature today. It was 31 this morning. Second snowfall. Well, that's great until you got blocked in last year, didn't you? I remember you said you got blocked in. This thing gets primered also. Primer. Are you the one, Justin? Are you the one that wanted a 68 El Camino? Are you the one that likes the 68 El Camino? Is that Tritarch? Might be Tritarch. But anyways, so here's a 68 El Camino. Literally a 68 El Camino. Well, that's what it's called. And it's got this crazy-ass freaking engine back here. Trapped for 2 days. It was sweet. Man, I can imagine. You know, it's got the engine up here. Plus, it's got this monster additional engine. Yes, yeah, I remember. I used to have a good memory, and then I get interrupted a lot. Jeeves, or whatever we're going to call him. This guy's going to get a clear coat. We'll leave it in this brickish green. Okay. This is the window to some jackassery that we're not going to put back together. I forget which vehicle this is. Is this the Roger Dodger looking thing? Yeah, oh no, it's this thing. This vehicle has, you know, I mean, no, that's just not going to work. Yamura cars from the 30s and the 40s. Okay. That's going to get primed. All right, so we're going to get all the windows out of here. The windows will eventually get we will clear coat them, but we'll do that after they're on the vehicle at the very end, okay? And it gives them kind of a dull appearance, and I was a little hesitant to do that, but I've been pretty happy with how that's turning out. All right, so first things first. Have a drink of coffee. You should do a limousine. I don't have one. I did pick up, I didn't even know they made this. Because I go to this place that has old car. If you go to a store, you're like, hey, I want to build a Hot Wheels. You go to Target or Walmart or Dollar General or any of those places that you can get now in the United States that has Hot Wheels. You're only going to be able to find whatever was around in 2025. I don't think you can even find it in 2024s. They rotate stock. There's new models that come out each year. I don't know, there's 60 or 70 different models that come out each year. I don't know exactly. But if you want a 2023, you're not going to be able to go to that store. You got to go to like a secondhand shop, flea market, something like that. And this particular place that I went to 2 towns away, it was 1 town away, but we moved 1 town north of it, farther north. Anyhow, about 30 miles away, 40 miles away. Has all these vintage toys, including like vintage Hot Wheels. and a lot of them are for $1. And I picked up a Cruella de Vil car. I didn't know that they made it. I always liked that car as a kid growing up, like the cartoon. So it looks like some Duesenberg or something like that. That'll be cool. All right, so, and then the Wet Willy. The Wet Willy, all we're going to do with it is we're going to clear coat it. Goodwill, Salvation Army stores, Hot Wheels, or knockoffs. I don't know, are they less than $1? Goodwill stores out all the way on the other side of town. I should go in there one time. I've never been in a Goodwill store. Lotus Esprit 2014. All right. Ooh, it's got rubber tires. Well, the better is expensive. It was like $7 for that one. All right. I'd like to have all the Bond cars. That'd be pretty cool. The Spy Who Raced Me. All right. So, let's fire. This is fired up. We're at some ridiculous pressure. Okay, because I don't want to jam. I want to avoid jams at all cost. And do we have any of these little alligator clippies? Yeah, let's go ahead and use this to drop these painted jokers, these clear-coated good jokers, as we're done. All right. 20 cents. Okay, well, that's pretty good. All right, we'll start off with this guy right here. Mean Green Racing Team. You could barely read it, but that's what's on there. Mean Green Racing Team. And again, I actually found a way to be able to do this live thing, and I was able to do it. And you wonder, well, if you're able to reverse the video, why aren't you doing that now? Well, if I reverse the video but don't have a computer nearby, like I have right now, like I don't have one, I can't monetize it, and I can't see your guys' comments. Okay? So if you're putting comments, I can't read them. Remember, I'm a painter. I'm not real smart when it comes to video shit. Guys that are really good at video shit can't fucking paint. There's probably some people that can do both, but. All right, we're going to add some of this premium color. I don't want to go hog wild and fill the whole damn thing up, because when you do that, you tend to spill it on the ground, or at least I do. All right, so we're going to check this out on just a little pad of paper, make sure it's flowing okay. All right. And then let's see, what are we going to do? What are we going to do so we don't? Let's go ahead and give ourselves a body cavity search glove. I forget to use these. Now would be a good time to do that. Yeah, I went for a walk when I got home, and it was almost cold enough to put on a jacket. Almost. The other day it was like 60 or something like that. People were out there with fur coats on. Like, come on, man. When it gets cold here, it's beautiful. There's not a cloud in the sky. Okay. Let's grab this guy. All we're doing is we're creating a surface here. I'm going to hold it here. Creating a surface so when I apply a brown wash to this thing, it's got something to attach itself to. Now this one I didn't take apart because it has no interior, and it's got 6 rivets. So that's a lot of work for nothing. And as I like to say, just because you don't value my time doesn't mean I don't value my time. This guy's probably going to be called Booger. He's one of the redneck dudes. There's going to be a redneck truck. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but. Okay, this guy here. Mean Green Racing Team. You can barely read that. Is that a sticker or is that a decal? If it's a sticker, we need to remove it. Yeah, we'll allow it. Washing machine. This is totally a Chevy S10. Circa 1988 or something like that. Well, hold on a second. It's 1982, so unless they had a time machine, and they got some details back here. Looks like there's a set of flippers. What the hell's a flippers doing on the back of it? It's not like it's a scuba truck or something. And the other thing by doing this is I don't have I don't have to decide, well, what color am I going to paint it? Somebody's already decided it for me. Okay? I just got to make it look believable. Right now, it's not very believable. It looks like a toy. All right, I don't know what this guy's going to be. Some red... This thing's going to have rockets. This is Marty's truck. Marty, I remember Marty giving this to me. He said, this is my truck. I want to ride it. Okay, all right. All right. Should build it shitty, right? So you won't like it. No! All of my vehicles are done well. That's the intent anyways. If it drives like shit, that's on you, pal. Wouldn't it be nice to take a time machine, go to a KB toy stores, get all the knockoff versions? I don't know. I don't want to be a kid again. I didn't enjoy being a kid too much. Not like I was, touched inappropriately or anything. I just like, I was a kid. I didn't, It's annoying when you're a kid and you don't have an income and you see everybody like having shit you want and you can't have. And we weren't without anything, but it's just annoying. That's all. Yeah, toy stores at the mall are a thing of the past. KB, what was the other store that was a KB? They had KB and they had another one that was in the mall. Just like bookstores in the mall. You had B. Dalton and the other one was Walden Books, right? There was two toy stores. There was either KB Toys. What was the other one? I don't remember. I was thinking about that the other day. The first one that was really big was Lionel Playworld, right? It had like a kangaroo for a logo. Same way as Toys R Us had a giraffe. This one had a kangaroo. Lionel Playworld. And I remember there was this army set of the Guns of Navarone. I always liked the Guns of Navarone because it was always on TV, on TBS. Always. They'd always play it. And always wanted to get that play set. Of course, it's nothing like the real mountain. It's complete bullshit, It's comes with like tanks. Like there's no tanks in the movie. There's an armored car in the movie, and the Germans have it. There's no storming the beach with a freaking mountain there. Like that's not part of the movie. Still wanted it. The only thing I had a few of that I thought was a really cool toy are stompers. I am spraying clear coat, my friend. Yes, flat coat. We're flat coating all these guys, and then we're going to prime them, and then we'll be good to go. Look at this Mr. Happy looking guy. I found out this is actually a McDonald's. I did a Google image search. This is a McDonald's toy. I think this is supposed to be a Camaro or something. I don't know. Mr. Happy looking thing. Let's see if I can grab this somewhere underneath here. Yeah, it weighs too much. We'll just we'll just grab one side and then switch around. We're not doing this very thick. It dries like instantaneous. Pretty much. I don't have this. I'm not pushing it wide open all the way. Let me go and do this. Find out that that's a limited edition Happy Meal toy. It's worth $25. Too bad you painted it. Somebody gave this to me. Marty gave this to me. I'm like, I'm painting it. I'm painting it. Warhammer now has tanks the same size as Matchbox cars. They do? I just don't like, you know, Games Workshop, I like the quality of their stuff. They spend a lot of money in advertising. They have to make up for that in other ways. I guess I'm dribbling. And that's, you know, charging an arm and a leg for the figures. Now, regardless of the cost of Warhammer stuff, it's just not really made for me because I don't really care about fantasy stuff. Well, aren't you playing a fantasy game? Yes and no. I mean, the narrative is whatever I want it to be, not some Games Workshop bluff. This thing's going to be badass, I can tell you already. These type of vehicles are ideal for Gaslands. I didn't know Warhammer they've gone to 20 millimeter. I don't know, they probably cost us more. I am applying Vallejo flat. And that is so we can add a wash to these, vary the color tone of them, and it needs to be flat so that it could adhere to it. So you can't tell. What's happening is it's glossy, and you put a flat and it keeps it from being glossy. What's happening is you're actually creating a surface that looks like sandpaper. Okay? You can't tell, but it's like sandpaper. And you know, one like this one, they already have a decal there for a headlamp, so we'll leave that one alone. Although I love painting headlamps, but if you're going to go through all the trouble of giving me a nice decal, we'll just roll with that. And so I tried this probably for the first time a couple months ago because I wanted it to save me some time. Look how glossy this thing is. If you try applying something to this, is it okay on your lungs? Yeah, it's blowing all that. It's blowing all that way. I got a fan blowing it this way. I am not in an enclosed place either. Some people airbrush inside. I don't. Well, don't you get a spray booth? It's too restricting, you know. And besides, I basically went to this, which is basically acrylic from rattle cans. Rattle cans are just horrendously bad for you. Oh, we're out. That looks like a Carmen Ghia. For those of us who are old enough to know what that is. Well, that's no excuse, because I know about cars that are much older than I am. Instant sub. Hey, I don't know anything, but I don't know everything, but there's some things I've figured out, and I have no problem sharing it with you guys. You know, especially like airbrushing. Like, I was like mentally handicapped when it came to airbrushing. You know, it's really frustrating for somebody to be like really confident with their paintbrush skills and then have to get an airbrush for the first time. And you're like, man, this is just like an uphill climb. And the reason I got an airbrush is to get away from rattle cans. Rattle cans got too expensive, too toxic, too bad quality control on the actual rattle can. Like, you couldn't get through all of it without it jamming up on you and creating a mess. I'm like, I got to get out of that. Yeah, this is going to be grape shot. Be nice to have like a Napoleonic cannon or something like that on there, like boom. But I don't know if it's going to come to that. It might just be a minigun or something, big old minigun. I don't like these kind of vehicles, but these kind of vehicles are perfect for Gaslands. Mentally handicapped, like me, first welding. Yeah. You know, you You know, one of the things is, you know, you gotta admit when you don't know something, right? Like, I'm sure that there's something you're great at, you know. At least be good at something. If you're not good at anything, then you got problems. But there's stuff that we have down, right? Like for me, it would be like I don't ever get lost. Never get lost. Even before I was painting, it was good painting figures. Never got lost. Okay, so I got that down. All right, I may suck at everything else, but. You got to admit you don't know when you don't know about stuff, and that way you can learn. Now, with that said, there's a lot of BS out there. There's a lot of people that are afraid of not saying that they don't know something, and they just, you know, they just ramble odd things. The way I look at it is, look, if you want to pass on bad information, then people are going to come after you wanting reasons why you sent them down the wrong path. I'm just saying, can you live with yourself? I wouldn't be able to, so I don't do stuff like that. I do. I got the golden Ute Australia Icon car. What's Icon about it? Yeah, that's actually, I look at it and I'm like, it's just awfully fruity. But I'm telling you, by the time I'm done, I'm going to really like it. I'm going to really like it. It's going to be a free agent though. Because some things like, you know, I got redneck teams. I got I got some cop guys or guys that pretend to be cops. And let's be cops, the name of the team. No, what did I call them? Cops? Carnage over public safety or something like that. I haven't said it enough times, but I got my urban thugs. I got my rednecks and inbred types. Hey, we're gonna make fun of everybody. This is gonna be a redneck vehicle. I don't do woke stuff. We make fun of everybody. So, all right. I think that's it. I'm a little leery of this guy. All right, here goes. Here goes. Because all I'm going to do with it is I'm going to give it we're going to pin wash it. See, it's got even a tag on it and everything. It's from one of my favorite movies. Favorite line of all the Bond movies. All those feathers, and it still can't fly. Hard to say which one my favorite Bond movie is. That's a great movie. What's her name just is a terrible actress. Just deadpan. But I like most of the movies anyways. Except from the 1969 one. That one sucked. That Australian Bond sucked. Sorry. I got nothing against Australia. I got a lot of people that I like from Australia, but Australian Bond don't work for me. All right. All right, this guy would normally get that treatment, but it's going to get primed. Let's make sure we didn't leave anything off, and then we'll go do the primer stuff. Let's set this somewhere out of the way. Oh, I guess the boat bottom can also be this. Be right back. You like using military washes and AK washes. The problem with AK is I can't find them. You know, I got to order them. My favorite paint of all time is this paint called... Shit, I don't remember what it's called. The people that used to make the Games Workshop paint. I was going to say Howard Hughes. No, Howard Hughes looked good in practice, and it did not work. Did not work as advertised for me. I can't remember what it's called. Coat d'Arms. Coat d'Arms is awesome. But I have to mail order it. Who's going to mail order paint? I mean, unless you're just refilling it, you know, but a new color? Like, no, that doesn't work. All right, we have a little bit of this left. Let's just run it out and add some homemade cleaner to it. And now we're going to get the primer out. And you never know what's going to happen. Sometimes you got to baby the primer a lot. How long have I been painting? Since I was about painting 1985 probably. Airbrushing 3 years ago. I mean, I did some airbrushing in the early 90s, but, you know, I worked at part-time at a hobby store, and they had an airbrush there you could use. So I did some airbrushing, but it doesn't really count. Like, I'm on my own now, like 3 years ago. And, yeah, the hand painting is like, piece of cake. You know, it's a piece of cake now. You know, they have great products out there. You know, and I feel like every year, at least paint-wise, you guys have more options. You know, when I started painting, you know, and you want to do acrylics, all you had was Poly S and Tamiya. And Tamiya is acrylics, but it's really alcohol-based paint. And it basically is water cleanup. Let's get this little bit of buildup on the end, or we're going to have issues later down the road. Now, I don't want to clean this out ready for the primer because the primer is going to make a mess. It's going to create goopiness in here, which I'm probably going to, with this much stuff that I have to prime, I'm probably going to have to stop in the middle of it and clean it again. So I don't want to clean it an extra time. All right, so let's see what we're going to do. Now, I use this stuff called, I don't have a link to it, but there's a Facebook group called Airbrush for Beginners, Advice from Experts or something like that. And you get a lot of dumbass guys that want to prove that they're, you know, God's gift to airbrushing and want to make people feel like crap. But occasionally, you get some good ideas in there. And one of them is this guy who made his own mixture of basically like a universal thinner. His name is Khurram Abbas, and I call this the Abbasid Magic Mix. So this is just basically an additive that helps the tip from getting tip dry. That's usually the problem that you have with these airbrushes is you get tip dry. We have a little bit of like flakiness here on the end, which from many uses of the clear coat, and that's what I'm removing. You know, it looks like dry skin basically. All right, so what we're going to do is he recommends for primer, for normal paint he recommends 50-50, for primer 30-70. Well, I'm not going to go out here with really anally retentive trying to pick up the thing, but I am going to do about 30%, and I'm going to apply this stuff first. So as it works its way into the airbrush, you'll get the fluid stuff first before you get to the primer. Because what happens is this stuff dries pretty quick. It gets gummy. This kind of gets like a French onion soup, the cheese on the French onion soup that it just kind of coagulates. Anyways, it starts drying up quick. So coagulate. I didn't know that it was going to be a vocabulary quiz. And then we're going to mix this in here. I'm delirious from solving problems at work. You'll have to excuse me. Okay. Come on, you can do it. Now, I can already tell you that I'm pulling this all the way back and a lot isn't coming out. So the first thing I'm thinking is we're going to have to take this thing apart. And it's thinned. Let's remove this and see if this helps. All right. So we'll try one thing first. We'll block the end of it and be careful not to pull it all the way back so I don't end up wearing it. We're going to have to take it apart. All right, well, shit happens. I'm like, dude, I got a 20-foot hose. Why is it stuck on here? Caught on the back. All right. That's the one rule of airbrushing. Don't make any fucking plans. So I've got this thing that I picked up aftermarket and allows me just to drop it. So the hose and everything underneath it still is maintained at the pressure. And then I can just deal with this as I need to. So the first thing we're going to do is let's scoop all this stuff out. Let's get a new one of these. And see how quick we can get this going. I do this all the time, so hopefully it'll go pretty quick, because this is not very exciting. How do I get into the diecast? Seems like something I'd like to maybe try. Go to the store and buy one. Go to the store, buy one, take it apart, and there's all kinds of really good, interesting stuff that's inside the actual diecast. However, I don't like to pull the rivet out. I don't like to drill the rivet out. It's putting metal on metal. It takes forever. It's actually, I find it dangerous. You're putting a lot of torque on something. So what I do is I just take a drill bit and I just drill around where the rivet is. So if you have a rivet, I just go around it in the plastic, which is easy to do, and then it just pops out. It's a lot quicker, and you can do it at low RPMs. You know, you're not doing it at like a really fast RPM. Where is my little brush? Here we go. The little brush that came with the airbrush. I have an Iwata HPCS, by the way. I've been very happy with it. The reason I got this airbrush is they sold it at, we don't have any hobby stores anymore. So they sold it at Hobby Lobby, and I figured I could try it for 30 days. And if it didn't do what it was supposed to, I could return it. And I didn't return it because it did what it was supposed to. 30 days, I sank or swam, and I got through it. All right, we're going to take a little wrench. Well, I tried it many times. I'm a pretty detailed person. Watched the videos. Didn't work for me. I even got the right drill bits. I spent a lot of money on it just didn't work for me. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to just drill out the plastic. And there's videos on there, and they make it seem real easy. I had no luck with it. I got all kinds of Dremel tools and drills. Didn't work for me. So, you know, oh, we got ourselves a problem here. And this definitely needs to be cleaned out. Well, you know, I ran it 8-9 times without cleaning it. Well, we're definitely born with some traits. There's no doubt about it. Some people are like, how can you paint faces? I'm like, it's easy. You just do it. But I have a lot of patience when it comes to painting stuff. I don't have a lot of patience when it comes to like working on stuff that involves like computer shit. You know, when you try something and it's like, oh, didn't work again. And you're like, you got like 4 hours out the window. Like, I don't mind if something takes a long time to work on it, as long as you're making progress. But if you don't make any progress or like have to start over, that's like the wrong thing for me. This, by the way, is hand sanitizer, and it works great other than the fact that I'm almost out of it here. I got lots inside. I don't want to break off and do that. I should have enough here to get the job done. That should be clean enough. It takes all the paint off. Well, as long as you're using water-based paint. I discovered that one time. I don't know. Maybe other people do it, but... And people say, oh, alcohol works just as well. It doesn't. I tried it. I did it live on one session. It does. I wish it did. It'd be, you know, easier to use, but All right, so that's good to go. We're going to take this needle, same thing, just run it over it. Yeah, we had a little bit of paint that was building up there. It doesn't take much for it to just misbehave. Right? I'm actually going to remove this because I don't want to like take some of that paint and, you know, take it off here, and then the brush, and then the glove puts it on. Okay? That's clean. Now here is where the problem usually is. I'll be right back. I'm going to go get more hand sanitizer. I'm going to go refill this one. I'll be right back. Actually, I got some in the freaking car. Let's just do that. I got a big tub in the car. It's not the same stuff, but it should work about as well. I like the Purell, but it's hard to find the big one of. This will take all the paint off your brushes too, assuming you're using acrylic, you know. So we're going to go ahead and add some of this in here as well. Well, one thing, you know, there's a couple of things that I learned from getting an airbrush, and luckily one of the things that I heard somebody say is very wise, and said don't buy a really cheap airbrush that you're going to have to fight with all the time. You could buy an airbrush for like $20, and then, you know, you have to fight with it all the time. This, by the way, is not fighting with it. This is just disassembling it. And, you know, I wouldn't have to do this if I'd clean it right every time. But if I didn't clean it, if I had to clean it right every time, then every single time I wanted to clear coat one of the last 12 vehicles, I would have had to spend an extra 20 minutes cleaning it out. So it's a risk I'm willing to take because, you know, I don't want to do this every time. Now, let's see if we can see some daylight through there, or some light through there. Yep. All right, that's usually clean enough. We're not doing any precise stuff on here. But what I like to say, if you're airbrushing, don't make any plans. Don't try to do something like, okay, I got 45 minutes to do it. You don't know how long it's going to take. You could run into a jam like this. Now, everything should be clean enough to work. So we're just going to assemble everything. Don't want to lose this little guy. This thing's a pain in the butt. And I got one of those little trays to hold everything. And then it's just so obtrusive that I don't use it. Even though I'm wondering where the top of this is. Here it is. All right. Put in the needle backwards. Butt side in. Okay, this is too tight. Loosen it up. There we go. All the way past the front. That way you can drop this in here and this in here. One of the biggest mistakes I always had issues, if there's a little bit of an air leak, it'll cause all kinds of problems. So you want to make sure you crank it down. Even though it's like, man, it's plenty tight with your finger, it's not tight enough for being sealed. All right, so this will come out to the front, and then we'll put the little protector on it. So if we drop this airbrush, it almost invariably will land on the back or on the front. It already fucked up. Okay, how did I fuck up? Because I'm supposed to put this thing in first. So I'm running my mouth. Well, I didn't really fuck up. I just didn't do it as efficiently as I could have. Ha ha! Pull this back. That way, if you rock this thing, you don't have a needle underneath there damaging it. Okay. Now let's pull the needle all the way forward, And then this is probably the hardest thing of everything, to put this thing back, in my opinion. Loosen this up. We're doing a deep clean today. Let's see if we can, let's use this. All right. Ooh, there's some stuff in here. I think. Maybe not. Yeah, sit down. Anyhow, if you buy an airbrush that's a pain in the butt to take apart, and believe it or not, this is actually easy to take apart. But if you buy one that's a pain in the butt to take apart, you're never going to take it apart and clean it, and you got a big problem on your hands. I clean this pretty often. I just have not been doing it lately because all I've been doing is putting clear coats on. There we go. That's the only thing I don't like about tearing it. I feel like that they could have come up with a better system than that. Let's just remove this completely. That's the part that always goes a rolling. No. Maybe we didn't have it in the right place. And usually I take it apart to clean it, and I don't pull this little button off, but it was jammed. Just some extra paint in places it shouldn't be. Now, since I've gotten this, Hobby Lobby no Hobby Lobby no longer carries this airbrush. This is like a $150 airbrush, which honestly is kind of middle of the road. But they no longer carry it. Instead, they carry stuff you don't need to fool with. It'll go either way. I don't know why you're being difficult today. Probably because I'm filming it. Well, I never said it was perfect. Disclaimer, I suck at this. Sometimes it goes right back in and sometimes it doesn't. There we go. All right. Every time you clean it well, you probably have to take, I've probably had to take this button off maybe 1 in 10. Not very often. All right. Why is this thing not seated now? Are we having a problem? All right, I'm going to hold this thing in place. We're going to pull this thing out. Disassemble. No disassemble. Right, that piece goes there. Reminds me that one time I did some modifications on a pistol, something I didn't know anything about, but I can watch YouTube videos. Took me a long time. I got it, but it wasn't quick. All right. Yeah, I learned the hard way. You want a protector on the front and you want a protector on the back, because otherwise you drop this, not intentionally, but fumble things happen, unfortunately. There's a good chance it'll land on the front and mess up the needle, or land on the back and jam the needle into the nozzle. And then the needle's still trashed. So we put this little thing on it every time now. All right. Now we're good. All right. And so we'll put, this is the protector on the back, so it doesn't land on that and jam it up. Yeah, same thing here, same age, time I want to master it, go through the basic classes, get right into big boy welding. None of you guys worried about that acetylene or something like that blowing up? I don't like things that are gas, man. It creeps me out. We got a grill in the back, and I hate to sound like a candy ass. There's a lot of shit I'm not afraid of. I'm not afraid of snakes or alligators, or spiders, guns, gas. Gas is creepy as fuck, man. I can't see it. I can't see it. I don't like gas. I've played too many video games and blown people to Kingdom Come with gas. Okay, so now this pressure, this is still at the pressure it's at, okay? So let's make sure it works. So obviously we're going to try this with the cleaner. Should be nothing. There's nothing. You pull back and you get some fluid. We run all that out. That's another thing. They want you to buy one of those cleaners. Just get you a jug of a milk jug, or in this case, Arnold Palmer, and blow into it. No point in spending money on something that's just going to have old paint in it. Now, I probably started using this about a year ago, and it hasn't evaporated. So who knows what kind of a science experiment I have in there. Whoa! All right, now we're going to ruin this clean thing by adding primer to it. All right? So we're going to start off with the Abbas liquid. And I'm going to use at least 30%, if not more. If you use more, it'll jam less. May not cover worth a damn. Yeah, we got it about right. Okay, not that much through. This actually comes with a lid that doesn't work. I try closing it, and it's like impossible to close. I don't know whether it got warped or something, but you just got to be careful you don't get too excited and tip this and get it somewhere it's not supposed to be. It's just another thing you have to stop and clean, you know? All right, let's get Notepad's great for this. There we go. Okay. And you can get pretty small lines, but this isn't what we're doing. We're not doing German camouflage on a plane or something like that. We are going to, now we're going to need the little alligator clips. So the first thing we're going to do is, we're going to take some of these things that have a lot of detail here. Like there's a fan here and some Looks like some nitrous cans here and stuff like that, and it's all not visible because it's all bright ass chrome. So it's time to kill that bright ass chrome. No need to do it really thick. Several passes will do fine. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do all this stuff and not have to take this thing apart. There's a chance I may have to take this stuff apart. This primer is really rough on the moving parts. It just gets very goopy. Okay, that's all we're doing. Prime it black. Let's get all the insides done, and then we'll do the interiors. All these vehicles have really good interiors. Look at, well, I don't know if you can, I can even tell. Got nice seats and all kinds of stuff. By the way, how long did that take to clean the airbrush? 15? It didn't take more than 15 minutes. Shit happens, you know? I just didn't want to clean it every single time I came out just to clear coat something. And probably the last time I took it apart was probably 3 weeks ago. And I've been using it about every day. The interior to puddle hopper. You can't stand your kid's age. I think being able to... What I would do is, if I had the proper equipment, I'd work on cars. I need a lift. I've done some stuff to my car, but, you know, nothing electronic. Not fucking with the engine. Bypassed running lights. Added fog lights. What else did we do? Replace the horn. That was a little challenging. They don't make that easy. The easiest thing about the horn is I had to repaint it because it came in red. It's visible through the grill. I'm like, nope, we're not going to have red visible through the grill. It's like, oh, a painting task. I can do that. Would have a pocket full of bolts after thinking you're done. Oh, this is the smiley one. There's the smile. Make sure your kids don't do something that's taken over by AI, since that's like a thing now. Mechanic, I don't think AI is going to take over that anytime soon. I don't know that I'm going to have the wheels, yes, I mean wheels, not rims, the wheels on these in bright-ass gold chrome. So we're going to primer that. This little vehicle is going to be pretty badass looking. Okay, here is the El Camino. I mean, geez. says like must have like a double engine. What days do I go? I try to go live every time I get a chance, man. Every time I get a chance. I did in the last couple of days. The daughter was back from college. Well, one night I did go live, and she was with her friends, but because she's here, but she's 2.5 hours away. So I try to go every chance I get. I do this because, well, it's my way of giving back, and I do it for my own reason. I want to stay on task. So if I'm doing something and people are tuned in, I'm not going to want to leave. I'm not going to be like, I'm not starting this for 15 minutes and letting people leave. And people like went through the trouble of joining, and then they're gone. So I do it to stay on track, and I don't know, maybe I'll bring up something that serves somebody some purpose. I don't know. But I got used to, many years ago, hobbying with a friend of mine. He'd come over on Wednesdays, and we would just chat and hobby. I'm a terrible multitasker. I can do this okay. I actually can do this better than anything else and multitask-ish. So if I'm fucking up multitasking this while I'm talking to you, I'd be really bad with everything else. But I admit that I'm not. Oh, this is the scorpion one. Yeah, we're not gonna have this in yellow. I don't know what color it'll be, but it ain't gonna be yellow. I don't have a problem with yellow, but yellow is, little parts on something isn't in yellow. Yellow's got to be the body color. But I try to do this every chance I get. So I appreciate you coming by, taking the trouble of checking out what the hell this is, what this adult is doing playing with toy cars. But, this is my therapy. I basically I don't have to drink to forget about work. I just do this, Not that I've ever drank to forget about work, but we just go to our little fantasy land where if there's any problems, you just blow them away. I like playing violent games. I'm a pacifist every day, But these cars, man, take one apart. There's some cool stuff to look at. And they're really cheap. It's like, oh, the wife wants you to go pick up some milk at the grocery store. Well, that's an opportunity to see if there's any cool cars. Do I make any money from these models? I don't. I do them for the game. I do stuff to be able to use it in the game. I don't do them to sell them. Nobody's offered to buy any of them. I'm not really interested in selling any of them. Now, if you want to pay 75% of my salary, I'll be your painting bitch. But since that's not going to happen, no, I don't do this for the money. I do this for the therapy. And we've all gotten a lot of free stuff off the internet. We've all gotten ideas. We're like, you look stuff up and somebody's already come up with it, or like at least giving you some food for thought to keep your, so you don't get into painter's block. And I'm like, I don't mind doing this, and maybe it'll help somebody out, or somebody like, I don't know if I could do. I don't necessarily interested in converting people to how I do things. I believe in freedom. Do it however you want to. I'm a tall enough person. I don't feel like I need to convert people. I don't tell people what to do, and I don't really care what people tell me to do. So sometimes we'll have good ideas and get ideas from somebody else, Okay, this thing is all these nooks and crannies this little guy had. Plus that kit paint, then add maybe $15 so you get therapy. Well, once I get too many, maybe. Once I get too many. I would sell these before I would sell my figures, for sure. Because once I'm done with the initial priming, it takes me about 2 hours to paint one. So it's not too bad. You know, I'm not going to sell one of my figures that takes 6 hours to paint. Like, nobody's going to give me $100 for it. And even if I got $100 for it, I wouldn't sell it. You know? Don't donate, man. I don't want your money. Take Google's money. Subscribe and just watch every chance you get. It costs you nothing. Seriously, I don't believe in that Patreon stuff, and I don't do this for. Fortunately, I don't need the. I need the days off. I don't need the money. But I appreciate you coming by, interacting. That's, you know. Please keep your money, man. We all need our money, especially, well, more each day. Inflation is just raping us all. So, but take Google's money. They got plenty of money. Well, you know, I do things I don't like for money. And I like this, so. The very first thing I did, back when I was poor and young, is I ended up taking a commission to build a model for somebody. And I hated every little bit of it. I hated every bit of working on it. I felt like I was doing it for somebody else. So. My reward is seeing you guys come in here and having a good time. And I've been doing the shows now for almost 10 years. Maybe not this, but something on the YouTube channel. Almost 10 years. And it's been a great ride. So. All right. This thing has all kinds of things going on. Well, I do get paid. You know, I make a couple $100 a year. I'd do it for free. I'd do it if I made no money. Now, if I had to pay to do this, not cool. That's just not cool, right? But I have to do these live things on my phone because otherwise, some of you would have never even known about this because everything gets spit out through your phones. I mean, how much internet do we all watch through our phones? A lot, right? Most of us do it. So, you know, I've got to do it through my phone, which means it's not as big, you know, I can do it better through the computer, but I'll do a show for a couple hours and get 15 views. I'll do one of these on the phone and I'll have like 3,000 views. I mean, it's like dramatic. So, and honestly, I like this Hot Wheels stuff. It's a lot better than the World War II stuff. Not because I hate World War II, but it's like, you know, you just feel like doing a pink vehicle. And they're like, you know what? Let's try a green one. Or a dump truck. Or, you know, you can change it so much. And it could be so different. And there's a lot more people that are into this. You know, some people are like, you know, you ask somebody, hey, which is your favorite tank that I built? Oh yeah, one of those green ones. You know, it starts becoming all the same thing instead of these things that all have kind of a different personality. And the game is fun. The game is... I haven't filmed the game with people yet. I think we have to do it here. It's a little camera heavy. Like, you got to move the camera around a lot. But it provides a really interesting narrative that can really get out of hand. So, you know, we had one car that went airborne, crashed into a group of 4 other cars, and 3 other cars detonated. So, that was pretty interesting. Would I ever paint model cranes and stuff like that? Absolutely. I went to a war game convention a couple of months ago, and this guy was selling a bunch of like railroad buildings that were already built, but they weren't done to a great standard. Like, they were done a long time ago. And I was like, man, I should buy these and just fix them up. And I didn't, because if I get too much stuff, I just like, I don't know where to begin, and I just walk away from it. So I know that's how I operate. So I didn't want to get a bunch of things, regardless of whether or not they were expensive or not. And they weren't. They were really inexpensive. But they just take up space. So I didn't get any buildings until I was ready to work on them, but any buildings for this game, you know, but yeah, we're going to have scenery items. No doubt about it. Getting paid live and have a day. Yeah, you don't know how my days off work. Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea. You have no idea. I have no idea. I have no idea. Now, we just got to do this another decade and change. And we can go back to... I'll never... No, we're going to have to cover this Hot Wheels thing up. Well, I didn't really want this dark blue. It's too damn dark anyways. So we'll just cover that up. Cover that. I get very few days off. And I got to leave everything done when and clean up a mess. It's like, yeah, don't remind me. This is a happy place. Work is not the happy place. Especially because I live in a neighborhood, I'd say half the people are retired. So I rush, get home from lunch. And these people are, you know, not doing anything. And they earned it. I get it. But it's like, you know, it's frustrating. That's all right. They're going to die soon. Oh! I just wish I could just, when it was time to leave, just leave. Go on vacation. You know, like that, remember that cartoon with the sheepdog and the coyote, right? He punches a time clock. You know, he might be in the middle of a fight with Coyote about to strangle him, and as soon as the time clock goes off, he just lets go of the Coyote and just go back to it. Shit, I'll go to lunch and come back, and it's everything's fucked up. All right, so it's all black. We might even leave it black. You know, by the time you weather it, it's not black. It looks pretty badass. All right, is that the last body? This is clear, so we're not going to mess with that. Oh, we missed one here. Not that it matters a whole lot. Oh yeah, I'm definitely overworked. But, you know, I don't think about the place when I'm not here, so. Either you give a fuck or you don't. So. People that don't give a fuck will be worried about, you know, when they're going to get a job or whatever. I mean, I haven't looked for a job so long, I wouldn't even know where to begin. All right, this white undercarriage just isn't going to fly. We'll leave those for last. This chrome, what vehicle does this go to? Oh, this is the 68. This is the 68. This is the 68 El Camino. You do 7 days a week? No, I can't do that. What's the one thing that I say? It doesn't matter how long you're at work. I mean, within reason, as long as you get a certain amount of time off, right? So, like, say for instance, you know, who cares if you work 8-hour days or 12-hour days or 10-hour days? It doesn't really matter, as long as, you know, you don't have to come back in 6 hours, kind of thing. You know, that ain't right. You know, I mean, that's not a problem I have, but many people have that problem. You know, oh, you got to stay late or work a long shift, and you know, you only get. I mean, you need time to like fucking do laundry. You know, just like I don't take work calls when I'm not at work. I found out really quick that well, first of all, I started working there before cell phones were a thing, right? And I just started realizing that some people can't plan. They're really bad at planning, and if they have a crutch, they're always going to use it. So if they can get a hold of you 24 hours a day, then they could just be like, you know, I'm not going to plan and I'll wing it. And when I need something, I'll call Tony at home and ruin his whole fucking time off. I'm like, I found out really quick that that's not going to work for me. So I don't have that problem, but many of you do. You know, it's different if there's an occasional emergency, but if it's just you being lazy and not being able to plan, and that's a lot of people. A lot of people don't plan well. Oh, hold on a second. You had something juicy. What juicy you got? If you want to start a second shift, following morning, my unit's pretty messed up and the unit's in scrap parts by now. You do 7 days a week fortnightly. The other 2 weeks, 6 days a week. Love your work. It helps when you have a good team around you. Everyone else works 4 days, so the other 2 to 3 is optional. What kind of work do you do? I don't dislike what I do. I just don't like the conditions I have to do it under. Does that make sense? I'm good at what I do, but man, just like we got to stop something to put out a fire, and then while you're putting out that fire, another fire appears, and it's like, that's the problem. And you can't always work on whatever's next, right? You got to do the whole critical path thing, which a lot of people are really bad at. I don't think I was good at it. You got to learn to be good at it. It's either that or you work twice as hard. Have to redo shit. Health and safety is the bane of your life. Try to clip this a little bit. You know, this takes a little time, but I got a mess of black stuff here that'll be ready to go, and you can just jump from one vehicle to the next. Now, the reality is most of these aren't going to get worked on until my parts come in. I ordered 3D printed parts from a new vendor on Etsy called Creepy Hero something or another. Creepy Hero Studios. Now, the last 3D printer I got, his stuff was great, but I basically got everything he has. So I wanted to try some other items. That doesn't mean his stuff sucked. Let's see how this other guy does, you know? You make skips. So like the big dumpsters, we have only 8 lads put up 8 skips out a week. I know you told me, but I still don't understand. So you weld like, you make like dumpsters? Oh, so you're like the guy that designed that Tesla truck that looks like a fucking dumpster. It's probably cool on the inside, but it's like, man, that's like something I made in shop class. Uh-oh. This is fucked up. I've never had this happen before. Oh, did I put the thing on the, hey, there we go. I guess when you put the leg of your stool, I have enough interference that I block the airflow completely. Wow, I've never seen that happen before. Well, I'm glad that was an easy fix. Just move your ass. It's terrible, man. Everything about it is ugly. And I'm sorry, a car doesn't have to be beautiful, but it doesn't cost any more. It's not like, okay, well, if you want an ugly car, it costs this amount of money. You want one that looks better, you got to pay more money for it. Yeah, I don't care for how it looks. Let's put it that way. And the lights on it are ugly too. It's like an afterthought. It's like, I think we need to put some lights on it. Oh shit, what do we do? Get some of those lights from IKEA and put it around the front. No, the IKEA lights look better. I'm a big fan of the third pedal, so I'm not interested in an electric vehicle. You take the fun out of it. I go to work and I feel like I'm playing a video game for 10 minutes. Oh, they have lots of panel gap? I hadn't noticed. I hadn't looked at one long enough to... Oh, man. Yeah, I'm the one dumbass that wants a stick shift. It's fun. It could also keep your significant other from driving your vehicle. That's not why, but... In an age where some people don't even want to drive, I choose to make it a bigger challenge. All right. We're out. So we went through. So let me show you this. Look how much we primed. We primed stuff here. Let's see if I can get it in focus. We primed all this stuff here and only used 3/4 of this cup. So it goes a long way. It blows my head most Americans can't drive manual, but that's the way the UK is going now. Well, the only thing I don't like about the UK that I can think of right now is you guys just drive on the wrong side of the road. I just can't get over that. That's it. I can deal with a metric system. I can deal with advertisement and those type of things. I actually like English pronunciation. No, I like the English spelling. I like armor with a U in it and stuff like that. Whoa. Pay attention, dumbass. That is not the Abbasid magic fluid. That is, that would have just been a hiccup. All right, let's do about 30% again. Oh shit, that's too much because I don't only have to do this stuff right here. So you got me excited talking about stick shift stuff. How much is car insurance in the UK? Is it a lot? Because it's magnified tremendously here in the United States. It's to make up for people that don't have insurance. I don't know how people go around not having insurance on their car, but some people live their life just like, let's see what the fuck happens, right? They don't care if they end up in jail. I don't know. I don't want to go to jail. If I absolutely have to have a boyfriend, I want to pick one I can get away from. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to get, some guy, you don't want your soulmate that's, 200 stone. That can't be 200 stone. 30 stone, right? Man, we went to London and we had this one guy who was not a native Londoner. I'll leave it at that. And he takes us, and we're going like 30 kilometers or something like that. Not really fast or anything, but we're going down the wrong way. And I'm like, uh-oh, what happened here? There we go. For 1 liter, my it's about 300 a month. That's a lot. Well, I had an incident on a scooter, not a motorcycle, on a scooter. I was being safe, and I could have gotten hurt really bad. And that's when I realized I don't need to be on a motorcycle or anything like that. Like, I only have one life. I didn't even do anything stupid. And it was just, shit happens, you know? Like, if you're going to drive like a maniac, that's what Forza's for. That's what video games are for. Well, this is a British vehicle. I do need to work on my British team, because my British team is going to be called Cruel Britannia. Not because British people are cruel, but it goes with, you know, I don't have to tell you, you know. So I got a Bentley, I got this little Morris thing. Obviously the Morris is going to be more powerful in the game than it would be in real life. It's probably Volkswagen speed, Volkswagen horsepower. Too close call, that's a problem. Bikes, the other drives you have to be careful of. Yeah. Yeah, I won't be driving. If we go back to the UK, I won't be driving there. I mean, I didn't this last trip. Well, this last trip. The only trip I took. Honestly, the only reason we went there was on the way to the homeland. Or as somebody put it, my country of origin. It's true. On the way to Spain. I would have loved to have gone over and driven out to the Tank Museum. But, you know, it's 5 hours away. Like, you don't have time for that. Not when you're only in the UK for 2 days. I just saw a commercial for Grand Tour this morning, and I'm like, you know, I'd watch that show, but I don't like these reality shows that pretend to be non-scripted. I have a problem with that. I don't like that at all. It's like, who are you fooling? I'm not 7 years old. What do I do for work? I tell people where to go. I handle shipping in a construction-related company. We manufacture things, and I handle all the shipping. And most of the time, it's crazy. And I've been doing it for over 30 years. Man, you don't look that old. I don't. But I've been there a while. Right out of college. Are we out? Come on. There we go. We got the prime the underside in case Marcus is watching. Well, you know, I could shut the whole fucking place down if I wanted to. I mean, it'd only be for one day, you know, but. I don't want to be important. I want to be left alone. Yeah, I don't like scripting, man. I don't. Like, all the game videos that I do, none of the stuff that you see is scripted. It's never scripted. First of all, it's too much work. Second of all, the unlikely event that things happen is half the fun. It's like, what are the odds that this would happen? I can't tell you how many games, like, well, as long as I roll a 6, and you roll a 6. All right, as long as I roll a 6 again. I've said that and rolled like 6 6s in a row or something like that. You know, or 1s or whatever it was. The irony of it is just incredible. You know, that's too much fun to not share that with other people. You know, the only thing I don't like about this game, and really it's optional, is I don't like the backstory. As somebody said one time, it's like, oh, it's because British people are terrible storytellers. Like, no, I don't think that's it. It's just the guy wanted to make what his alternative reality is, and it's like, you know, the whole Mars thing, I'm like, eh. But the game is solid. I think they put a lot of thought into it. They play tested it enough. It's not going to be perfect. Things are always going to happen. You're always going to encounter situations you've never seen before. But I think the point values of a lot of this stuff is pretty spot on in most cases. I'm not going to paint the bottom side of that. It's already black. You can't see it. These wheels, I'm not going to paint them either because they're already a silverish color, which is, you know, they're not gold. All right, now we get to do something fun. I'm going to do something I don't like to do, actually. And that's not clean this thing, but that is something that has to happen. I'm going to try to break some cars. I've got 3 cars that are definitely third-tier cars. Make your own story. I already have, man. What's happening? Which one of the 6 is it? Is it Hank? Is it Hankel Stillskin? I do make my own story. That's taking the fun out of it. My own story with all the groups, and they're all at odds with each other. Yeah, so I immediately said, okay, I want a British team, and I want an Italian team that runs Italian cars. And I want a German team. My Italian cars all have Italian names. The German teams are all unsavory adjectives. I don't have anything against the Germans. That's what I decided to do. That's the fun part. Where is the brush? Ah, Sarah. Oh, with the H, even though the H's are Isn't that how it goes? You need to do one of your music sessions on a weekend. Like on a Saturday. So we can go up there. Just saying. Especially if you're going to play rock music. Then I'm in. That's what I want to hear. None of that other stuff. Okay, we've cleaned this enough. Okay, I don't sit here and try to take every little bit out of it. You know, you run this stuff through. Again, no point in spending $30 to buy one of these when just a jug will do. All right. I'm not going to unplug that just yet. But we are going to drop this, and then we've got the airbrush can just sit up there. Now, I don't leave this overnight. Like, I will remove all that, but let me give myself some room. All right, so I've got these 3 cars, and I don't feel good about doing this. I almost feel a little guilty. I don't like breaking things. I don't like breaking things that are in good shape. I don't like, but I don't know where the hell Marty got these from, and I need some wrecks. So we're going to use a bigger hammer. So we're going to come over here, and we're going to grab, I think this will do it. See if I can injure myself here. I've got a, yeah, this will work. A little towel. So these don't have a way to break them apart other than a little like notch here. And we're going to prime that, by the way. Actually, I probably shouldn't prime it. I could use that same color. That's enough. You got to make it, well, that's enough as I hit it again. Now, it's not that much fun, okay? It's not like, oh, you like breaking things. Nah, not really. This one, say a big weight fell on there. That's it. As I hit it again. Ooh, that works better. Like hitting with the edge. Because that's the problem is you're doing these dents, and the dents aren't, you know, the metal on this to scale doesn't crumple. This is the best one right there. Doesn't crumple enough. Okay. You'd replace the lights. The lights are getting a little dim. This guy we got the house from really did a superb job with the lighting. I'm going to leave, oh, well, I don't have to. We can just remove the glass. That second car was worth $100. When I'm done with it, it will be. They don't have $100 in China. Making wrecks out of them. Next gig is in January. Well, you know, I said that one of these cars, where is it? The little blue guy? It came from a McDonald's Happy Meal, I found out. Marty gave it to me, this little guy. It came from a McDonald's Happy Meal. Let's see if we can get the light. It's like an aqua color. There we go. Yeah, this might end up being, you could actually feel that it's sandpaper-ish. A little bit. So this will allow that brown wash to wash on it. Once again, I forgot to take pictures beforehand. You know, because it's like, like this thing looks like a piece of crap. Right? When I'm done with it, it won't. I actually picked this up at a secondhand store. So, now one of my viewers, Ben, decided, you know, you can make wrecks by shoving some aluminum foil inside the carcass, like from the bottom side. And I've got one of those, and I'll be damned if he isn't right. Now, I got to be careful I don't injure myself here. We don't want necessarily everything that crumples outwards. This one might crumple inwards. Okay, cool. Really, the way, if I didn't have anything else to do, I'd buy 2 of every car. And then I'd make the second one the wreck of the vehicle. So you could have a wreck version of each vehicle. Now I could just repaint this whole thing, or just go, you know what? We'll work with the green color that's already there, or we'll work with the red color that's already there. I don't want this glass. Now, I do have one vehicle that actually came as a wreck. So, in other words, it's a vehicle that comes in a set of like monster trucks as a crushed vehicle. However, it has an inside to it. It has wheels that roll. And I'm going to make it as a functioning vehicle. It's going to be, you know, like Wreck-It Ralph or something like that. Something that's, you know, doesn't work as intended, but it is going to be a vehicle that I already even know what skill it's going to have. There's a skill called Splash, something like Splash. And basically when somebody shoots at another vehicle, anybody within medium distance of that vehicle that takes damage gets to roll to see if it takes damage too. So that's what that vehicle's going to have. It's all, you know, crumpled. Okay? Das ist gut. Where's the green guy? Maybe we'll leave the glass on it. Okay, maybe we'll leave the glass on it. All right, I'm going to take and give these guys a really quick clear coat on them so we can give them a wash. This one actually looks, actually, just watch. They're going to look great. At this point, I'm like, yep, I know we can make some miracles happen now. At this point, I've got enough of them behind my belt. All right, all we're going to do is we're going to give some of this clear coat, and then we'll be done for this session. I don't know how many people freaking came by today, but thank you. 21 likes, that's definitely the record. I appreciate you. The algorithm thanks you. Where is something we want to put this on? Now, let's just grab our body cavity search glove and we'll hold it freehand. Yeah, pliers would have been better. Whoopsie. Whoa! I got too excited. It just allows that brown wash to stick to something. Okay? And I'll still paint headlamps and stuff on it, which is like my favorite thing to do. Mitch is always wanting more Rex. Well, here's some Rex, Mitch. All right. I'm a fucking moron. Oh, man. Remember how I almost put the clear coat instead of the thinner? I think I just used thinner. Oh, shit. I was like, that smells funny. Well, you know what? Fuck you. We'll put it right over it. I'm used to fixing mistakes. What's fixing a couple more mistakes at home now? There we go. Let's try this again. Now correctly. There we go. Like, that's an odd smell. It's not bad. It's just kind of odd. It's a mixture of, like, isopropyl alcohol and glass plus, and actually it doesn't smell like any of those things. There we go. Now it's nice and matte. M-A-T-T-E. Now I also need to make a ramp. I actually bought a truck that has a ramp on it, so I use it as a ramp truck if I needed to. I was wondering why the windshield wasn't getting frosted. That's how I go through life. I wing everything. And now we're done. Okay, we're just going to blow this out. And it took very little primer to prime a whole lot of stuff. But none of the finishes on the vehicle, except that one truck that was just a little too wild colored. So this is ready to go to clear coat some more. We'll stop this. This is running like a 40 PSI, which is a lot. Run that out. Release the moisture strap. And all these vehicles are in a litany of different colors. And they're all dull. They're all ready to go on there. I'm probably not going to be able to work on very many of them other than the Rex. Initially, I got to wait on the parts from Creepy Hero Studios to come in. But that should be any day now. All right, folks, thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.